Good morning, everybody. This is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy and your real estate sales guy, and in general, just your sales guy. How are you doing today? So let's go ahead and dive right on into our subject. What is our subject for today? Our subject for today is, what is our subject for today? It is sacrifice. Okay, sacrificing. What do you mean sacrificing? The whole subject today is like, I work in real estate now, and I still sell life insurance, and I've got some other products and stuff and things that I do. But see, sometimes if you want to be good, especially when you get started in a new business or a new venture, is you have to sacrifice. And I ain't saying sacrifice one of your kids. That ain't right. What I'm saying is sometimes you've got to sacrifice what they call time. Any new business, if you think you're going to be able to work in something part-time, you might be able to, but until you actually give it your all, that means you've gotten yourself in a situation where you may be working 7 days a week. Okay, I'm just saying, sacrifice means that, hey man, you may have to go to bed a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, or you maybe have to get up earlier in the morning or go to bed. It's just a big difference when you sacrifice for the better and the bigger good. You know, like I said, for myself, I was confused when I first got into real estate. You know, you have to take this 63-hour course, okay? And it was a lot of information, and I'm going to tell you what, the training was really good. I got some really great schooling, some training. I did some YouTube stuff, and I'm going to tell you what, it was a lot of information. And the goal was to get my real estate license, and by the grace of God, thank you God, I got my real estate license. But I had to go ahead and I had to, sacrifice a lot of my time instead of, going out and having fun and doing things. And I had to read a bunch. I had to study a whole lot. I had to record myself. And when you sacrifice, you sacrifice hopefully for the betterment, of whatever endeavor that you're trying to get involved in. And I sacrificed, like I said, I would listen to myself recording. I'd go to the gym and work out, or I'd be out selling and working as I was going from A to B. All the recordings that I did of myself, because that's one of the things, guys, when you get into sales, if you're going to try to get a certification, is if you're out in the field working every day and you have a chance to listen to either music or knowledge, you want to go ahead and sacrifice the music, and you want to go ahead and listen to yourself with recordings of all the different books that you've had to read. I had all this literature. I had all, this book and all these tests and all this stuff. And what I did was I sacrificed my time, and I took the time to record myself, with tests and little things that were given to me, because you get modules and information, and you record yourself with this knowledge, and it goes into your brain because you're listening to it, you're reading it, you're studying, and on top of reading stuff, it's a really another way to have a positive sacrifice of your time. And I love it because it's helped me to pass, many different types of tests that are very difficult. And on top of that, you have to sacrifice even more time when you get started. You got to go out there and hopefully find a good company. And this could be real estate, this could be insurance, this could be almost any type of business that you're interested in getting into. Sacrificing your time means, hey man, I've got to take those hard classes, I've got to take those hard courses, I got to take that boring crap. Okay, I'm just saying, because some of that stuff is boring. But the key to success, you may be saying to yourself, am I going to be using all that knowledge? Heck no, man. You're sacrificing your time to learn some basics and some fundamentals. You need to learn all those different things that are out there, and it's unfortunate you ain't going to remember it all. But when you go to take the tests and everything, you've got to sacrifice some time, get yourself set up, and bite the bullet. Don't be afraid. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Yeah, it's tough. And sometimes you might fail. So you got to sacrifice even a little bit more time and go retake the test. The first time I took my real estate test, I missed it by 1 point. Okay. And I was very disappointed, but I'm not a quitter. Neither are you. And we're talking about sacrifice. I had already sacrificed so much time and effort that I needed to get and bite the bullet. So by sacrificing for 2 more weeks, on Friday the 13th, I got my license to sell real estate. And I'm going to tell you what, man, sometimes it really shows your character, and your sacrifice if you fail the first time, okay? And by one point, I remember the people looking at me going, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, me too. I felt the same way." But I sacrificed and I got my license. Then what I did was I went and interviewed 10 different companies. You're probably saying, "You interviewed?" Yeah, I went to them, or I did the Zoom stuff, and I talked to them over the phone, and I made a decision on what company I wanted to go to work with. That's why I went to work for Exit Real Estate Gallery. Got in touch with this lady during the pandemic for an hour and a half over a Zoom meeting. She broke it down for me, the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the cool stuff and all the stuff that's available for us at Exit Real Estate Gallery. And I made an informed decision. Like I said, I could have just given up because I already talked to 9 different companies, had one that I thought I was going to go to work for. Actually 2. But after having this very last conversation, remember, I'm sacrificing my time. I'm making sure that I do the right next thing and I get in with the right company and so forth. So I sacrifice a little bit of money up front, but the opportunity to learn, okay? Because here's another thing. When you get in real estate, you think you're done? Oh, crap. There's even more learning. It sucks, but the more you learn, the more you earn. And a lot of times you may be going, "Wow, man, I didn't know when I got into selling that it was going to be so difficult." Well, you got to learn your product. You got to learn your paperwork. You got to learn the fundamentals, how stuff works. And if you work it that way, you'll be able to be successful. But see, a lot of times people don't want to sacrifice their time. We want to have fun, baby. We want to go party. We want to get drunk. We want to get high. We want to go have some fun. Yeah, right? Or go ride the boat or whatever. Can't do it. Sacrificing your times means that if you want to achieve something, it don't matter what it is. Maybe you want to get a license to sell life insurance. Maybe you want to get a certification in whatever. You got to sacrifice your quality of time. And then see, what you look at it is like this. You're not really sacrificing, you're investing. Okay? Investing. I've had people say to me, "Gary, you got into this old real estate and you hadn't sold." This was a while back. "You hadn't sold anything yet and you've been in it for a few months. What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm doing every single thing. I was doing everything that my mentors taught me how to do. I was going into my sphere of influence. I was studying. I took my 45-hour continuing education, because normally you got to wait up to 2 years, and generally people do. But I didn't want to waste my time, so I was doing everything. And you know what? It started happening. I started talking to people. People like me. I started doing marketing. I started doing Facebook, YouTube, and people started saying, "This guy's pretty cool. Let me go ahead and sell my house with this guy, and let me buy a house with this guy." So what I'm saying is you got to put in before you get out. A lot of times people want to know that they've already arrived, and they ain't out there doing anything to get there, okay? So just remember, guys, sacrificing and selling in real estate or in any business means you got to give first before you get something. Now, you may get lucky, and you may have a friend or a family member who's going to buy a house from you or buy a product from you, and then you're lucky because you got yourself a sale. But see, if it comes easy, I found out in my life, because I know some people, they got a good sale the first time, and then it took them almost a year to get another sale, and I'm like, "Wow, that's a long time. What's wrong with you?" And it's just the way it is. It's all about what you put in. See, today I'm getting ready to go work for a contractor. It's a couple of days after Christmas. I worked Christmas Eve. I worked the day after Christmas. I'm working this Sunday, which is today, for a contractor working in a model home, and talking to customers that may be stragglers or people who may be coming in to look at the model home in the community where I'm at. Well, guess where the salesperson is? He's on a holiday, because I sacrificed my time. And this guy was real nice. I made some sales because of this situation, helping them when they wanted to take a little bit of time off. It's wonderful, because sometimes people can't work 7 days a week. They need to have a little bit of a break. And when you do things that are out of character, like if they call you, say, "Hey, can you watch the store for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" Yeah, sometimes you may feel as though you're being taken advantage of, but if you look at the big picture, now you got to go ahead and set your calendar, guys. If it's important, here's the thing. You got to get your calendar set. That means your Google Calendar not the paper calendar, because that's the way I used to roll, buddy. But now I use my Google Calendar, and I set appointments, and I look at my calendar so that way I can be a better person, a better salesperson, a person who's more in control of my time. And, it's not so hard when you have to sacrifice the day. I set myself up in advance. What I'll do is I'll call these people, the contractors, or I'll call these people that are doing these open houses, and I'll say, hey, I'm available this day. What days do you need to take off? And guess what? Old Gary Lee sits there with a big old smile on his face and helps and welcomes a person who might come in who doesn't have a salesperson to help them buy a house. And I love it because, see, I get to learn. I'm also sacrificing my time being an intern. You know what an intern is? That's like in college, in college days when you got your degree and everything, or maybe you're getting ready to get your degree and you go work for somebody for free. Oh, isn't that fun? No, it ain't. Some people, they think they got to get paid before they can learn something. But for myself in this regard, I took on the sacrifice of my time. I do these open houses for people all the time, and I catch customers on occasion. But if you don't put yourself out there, remember, the sacrifice ain't going to work. You got to work, and I'm telling you guys, it's tough. I work, like I said, as much as I possibly can because, see, when you first start a new business, you can't lay to the house all the time. You got to pick up that heavy phone. You got to call people in your sphere of influence. You got to find yourself a lead source. You got to market yourself. You got to go ahead and talk to people. You can't be afraid to say, hey, I need your help, okay? And see, when you sacrifice, a lot of times what happens is when you least expect it, the miracle happens, okay? Don't quit before the miracle. I've said it before, and I agree with it, and I believe in it. But when you're a salesperson, you got to remember, sacrifice doesn't mean you give up, you kill yourself. What it means is if you give your time priority, you set goals, those days, those things that you want to do. Prioritize your time in advance. Like I said, doing open houses, or you're going knocking on doors, business to business, over the phone. You're communicating with people. You're on Facebook, say, hey, look at me, okay? And let people know what you do. Because, see, if nobody knows what you do, how you gonna make no money, honey? And our whole goal today was to talk about sacrifice in real estate or in any sales job. Sometimes, like I said, almost every single time, you got to put in before you get out. And it takes time, guys. A lot of times in any big business or any great career, because I sold furniture for years, and I was pretty damn good at it, but I got really good at it after a couple of years. Now, if you really want to get really good in any type of selling, it takes up to about 4 to 5 years because you build up your referral service. You've went out there and worked in your area of influence. You've worked in your marketing, and you've worked on your farming. You've talked to a lot of people. You've reached out. You send out those magnets with with your face on them, or you've handed out a lot of business cards. You've sacrificed. And up front, like I said, guys, when I got into real estate, I had to pay a whole bunch of money up front. Still paying that money. But the difference is I'm starting to see the residual. And if you don't have that where to when you first get into real estate, and where you don't have any money or anything, it can be really, really stressful. It can be really, really tough, because until you sell something, you don't get nothing, okay? And I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but I learned the hard way, and I had to live within my means. You got to have at least 6 to 7 months of income that's available. And remember, you got to sacrifice. That means, hey, you want to buy all that good stuff for Christmas? Well, hopefully you bought one good thing. And once you start getting paid, you take care of your significant other and your children and say, hey, his daddy's a little bit tight right now, but daddy's going to make sure that he works his butt off to make sure you get what you need. And that's what I do, baby, because my son's used to getting everything he wants, and I ain't trying to be disrespectful. He don't ever ask for nothing, because old daddy's sacrificed over the years and get him stuff to help him, because he's a musician. He loves music. Got him a drum set this year, and I'm glad I bought it months ago. Because it got a little bit tight there for a little while, but you know what happens? The perseverance. Oh my gosh, when you have to say to yourself, oh, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Well, you live within your means. You live below your means. You pay your bills first before you go out there and party, okay? And you got to remember, when you sacrifice, it's just for a little while. It could be a year, it could be a couple of years, but if you work your ass off, okay, he said it. Okay, if you work your butt off, you're going to make some money, but you got to get in there and work really, really hard. And our whole total talk today was, sacrifice. Why do you have to sacrifice? Because if you want to be successful, people who sacrifice and put off the good times, going to parties and vacations and spending all this money they really don't have, and they put it in a place, they save their little dollars, they put it back into the business, it means that sacrifice will pay off. It really will pay off. So remember, you're struggling right now. Put your little money away. Don't spend it all when you get your big old fat paycheck. Go ahead and put it away for a rainy day. Don't go out there and buy a bunch of stuff. Wait till you get a whole bunch of sales, years of sales, a bunch of sales, and then you can go out there and buy what you really, really want instead of just getting what you need. Okay? Get what you want, baby. And my name is Gary Lee Stanley. Check out my other websites. Okay? You can check out my real estate website at yourrealestatesalesguide.com, and you can check out my Exit Real Estate Gallery website and check out all the free homes that are available, or homes to click on so we can go check them out. It sounds good to me. And it's a free website. You can also check out my comedy channel, which is Gary Lee Stanley Comedy Radio, and I also have a real estate channel under Gary Lee Stanley Real Estate, and you can check out a bunch of them under Gary Lee Stanley. And hey guys, I hope you had a good time. I had a wonderful time. We just talked about selling, why sacrificing will pay. Okay? And remember, you're important and we matter, so get out there and sell something. But if you ain't asking for the order, you ain't selling. All right. Sacrifice.